MLB, it's time for you to get your eye on the ball. Cole Sports presents on the daily. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Cole Johnson's right back at you on the daily, presented by Cole Sports. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for coming back and tuning in to on a Tuesday. And Tuesdays, we touch on a subject where we feel an entity is
tone deaf.
And today, Tone Deaf, it is going to be directed to Major League Baseball. Yes, MLB. They are tone deaf. And why do I say they are tone deaf? I'm so glad you asked. Here's why. Now, we came after, what was it, a wonderful World Series in the end of October where the Braves beat the Astros to win their first World Series in 26 years. And to me, that's exciting because it's not the Yankees, it's not the Dodgers, it's not the Red Sox, and it's not the Cardinals. To me, the four teams that have ruled baseball just in the last 100 plus years. So it wasn't any of those teams, it was a new team. But a funny thing happened on the way to this next season. And in the offseason, the owners cried, enough. We are spilling too much money. We're not making enough. And so they decided to lock out the players. Now, the last work stoppage was 1994. To me, was one of the best years, if not the best year, that I ever saw in a whole season of baseball. And I was so upset seeing possibly one of the greatest seasons, like Tony Gwynn going for 400. And I'm talking about batting average. Like, we was going to have at least 4 or 5 pitchers going over 20 wins in the season. We had a pitcher in Pedro Martinez who was going after the strikeout record for the season. We had 2 home run chases in each league, and the players were like, nah. And they went on strike. And even wiped the World Series in that year to even be competed for. This year, well, at least they played the World Series, but we still are now under a lockout. And here are reasons why I really believe the players and the owners, more so the owners and the players, but both entities, this is why I believe they're tone deaf. For one, ridiculous contracts that not only the players are demanding to sign, but the owners are willing to sign off on. So if you're crying broke, normally in a lockout, it's a declaration for owners to say to players, wait a minute, y'all are making too much money. We're not making enough money. It's time for us to get a piece of the pie. So let's get a bigger piece. And we won't even discuss this until we do get said bigger piece of said pie. But the owners already make a big slice of the pie anyway. And I'm not even talking about because, well, they earn the most money of all of the organization. No, I'm talking about the fact that the league, they're in a pretty good standing. Many in Major League Baseball have 3 million people or more turn the turnstiles. So we're not crying broke. Major League Baseball is not crying broke. The league is not crying broke, and the organization's not crying broke. What do I mean? Mid-market teams. I'm not even talking about the Yankees. I'm not talking about the Dodgers. I'm not talking about the Red Sox. Those are large market teams. I'm talking mid-market teams. Give you an example. The Kansas City Royals. Now, they were up for sale back in 1999 for $96 million. That's 96 with an M for million. We didn't even get 20 years into the last sale, In 2019, that sale produced them $2 billion. And I'm not talking M for million. I'm talking B for billion. $2 billion.
For real.
Yes, Teddy, I'm for real. $2 billion. This is the Royals we're talking about. So if a mid-market team, which back in the mid 90s and late 90s, they and the A's and other teams like that were crying broke, well, they can't really lean on that now because they're making more money hand over fist. How is it that players can afford, I should say, how is it that ownerships can afford to sign these players for 10 plus year, 300 plus $1 million contracts if the owners don't have it to give them? The game is making more money than we think, and the game is making more money than the owners are letting on. And to say that, well, we think that you're making too much money, MLB labor union, I cry foul there. But this is what's interesting to me. So, like I mentioned, a mid-market team it went for $2 billion in the open market. But when we talk about baseball, we're not talking about this as in 40, even 30 years ago, definitely not 50 years ago, where they were not only the national pastime, but it was the sport to follow. It was the sport. It was the league. It wasn't about the NFL. That was sort of newish. It wasn't about NBA. That was a niche crowd. Same thing with the NHL, niche crowd, and it's even similar type of a niche crowd even now. But Major League Baseball, it embraced everybody. Everybody was in tune to it. I mean, even grandmothers knew names like Johnny Bench, Reggie Jackson, Catfish Hunter, Goose Gossage, George Brett. They knew names like that. I mean, my grandmother knew them. But if I were to ask my grandmother now, or any grandmother for that matter, who is Robert Acuna, I would probably get silence because they don't know these names. Why? Because Major League Baseball is happy being the third most popular sport in America.
You've got to be joking me.
No, Jessica, I am not joking. They really, really are happy being the third most popular sport in all of America.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
Inspector Todd, you're correct. It is one that stinks. And why is it that they could be happy being the third most popular sport in America with mid-market teams being put on sale for over billions of dollars with these ridiculous contracts that players are signing for 10-year plus, 300 plus $1 million? Well, that's easy. The owners can afford it because the ticket prices keep going up and up and up. That's just the truth. They just keep rising.
That's terrible.
Ain't that the truth, Charles? So if the prices keep going up, then that means the sport is not broke. So you can't cry foul. And that's why I find all of this hilarious and funny. That basically baseball is locking out the players. And I'll give you one more reason before I even head out of here. And that reason is you all in Major League Baseball have all the power in the entire North American system of sports. It is the safest sport of all to play. It is the richest sport for an athlete to play in America for sure. And a lot of the issues that the other sports like hockey, like football, like basketball have to concern themselves with, baseball does not. Like baseball doesn't really necessarily concern themselves with concussions, although it can happen. It doesn't concern themselves with turf toe. It could, but you don't. It doesn't concern themselves with plantar fasciitis. You see, all of those injuries have happened in basketball, in hockey, in football, even in soccer at times, but not on a consistent basis in baseball. The only problem they seem to have is the prospect of the asterisk. Are you juiced up or not? I know we're 18 years beyond that. However, that is a concern. Still, to this day, with Major League Baseball fan, they're still thinking, well, like if a guy hits 50 homers, like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., is he on the sauce or is he not on the sauce? That is what's the problem. But you don't care just as long as the turnstiles keep turning. And that's okay. That's quite all right. But the problem with that is if you tempt fate and your greed gets you to where your eyes are so big, as my father would say, your eyes may shine, your teeth may grit. Well, I'll put it this way. Your eyes may shine, Major League Baseball owner. Your teeth may grit. But this baseball fan, through your turnstiles, you simply will not get. Tighten up your thinking, MLB, because you have a long way to go in order to right this ship. Having the nerve to lock out people. Why? Why?
Tone deaf.
Now, if you enjoyed this commentary, or if you want me to touch on another subject that you would like for me to do, all you have to do is like this video, share it throughout your community and through all communities, and tell me what you like. And don't forget, subscribe and hit that notification bell to get all future updates and all future schedules for every video that comes here. I love doing this for you. I love being back. And I love talking sports with you, VIP. I live for you. For now, this is Cole Johnson, and I'm so glad to be behind the mic and in front of the camera. And this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the Daily.